It was another quiet night at the office. No phone calls, no messages. Nothing but junk mail and overdue bills to keep me company. Seems nobody wants to hire a real private dick anymore. A professional like me. A guy who does the detective work nobody else wants to do. A guy who wears hats and walks around in a black and white world. I began contemplating a more profitable line of work, like politics.
And we're back on the Joe Mangiacotti Show. Peter Blute filling in for Joe today. He's off. Our number's 508-871-7000. 508-871-7000. Our producer is Ted A. this morning. Obviously, the biggest issue that people are talking about are these Epstein files. What is going on with the Epstein files? I mean, first they didn't want to release them, then they did, and now they are. But remember, the Democrats had complete control of the Epstein files. They didn't release them either. 4 years. So there's something very strange going on. And then we had that set to between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Trump, which I thought Trump overplayed his hand there. But they got to get to the bottom of this. This is ridiculous. And it seems to me, what do you think, Ted? It seems to me that Epstein and the Democrats were knee-deep in this thing.
Oh, absolutely.
It was their thing.
You know, what's going on with Trump and Green
I know.
The Department of Justice. This is all political theater.
Exactly.
And they have to drag their heels over at the DOJ so they get it right. Otherwise, it's just all going to blow up and go away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Democrats look very good on this. Now, I think Trump has made some mistakes going back and forth, and we're going to do it. No, we're not. Yes, we are. Now we are. But I think that it's clear the Democrats have been hiding a lot. How about that footage that they have now? I think it was like 4 years ago when they had the first hearings. The Democratic Congresswoman, she was from an island, one of those islands where she was there, but she was communicating with Epstein himself and letting him know what was going on. He would suggest that this is how they should handle it. Then she would say it. I mean, that really looks bad. That looks extremely bad.
Well, I can't wait till Bill Clinton is hauled up there. But I think they should force him to wear a stained blue dress when he testifies.
Now, the word is vaguely, I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are, but it appears that Bill Clinton went to Epstein Island a good number of times.
Yeah, 17 times.
17 times. And then he was a regular on that shot across the Atlantic where you had time with no press around to get the bed going. And he was on that a bunch of times. Whereas it appears to me Trump was kind of busy doing other things, right? I don't see Trump involved in this.
It's important to remember that Trump is on record throwing out Epstein from the golf course.
Right, down in
telling them to shove off.
Down in Florida, because he was recruiting women that work for Trump.
Wait a minute, girls that were the children of members of the club.
Yeah, they were working, but they used them the way they wanted to use them, and Trump didn't like it, and Trump cut them off. I don't get this. What's this thing going to look like when they come out with these documents? And how about the document that was altered by the congressman from Maryland, in which he took Trump's name out of it because he knew it would make Trump look innocent. So he changed it, and it was total baloney.
Why did 3 liberal judges block the release of the documents over a 5-year period?
Exactly. Again, I said this on my show on Sunday that both parties have been in power in the majority when they had control over these documents and everything. And what happened? How come nobody did anything about it?
Well, part of the reason is the investigators were stymied right up till the present day by the agreement that was given to Epstein and his cronies. They were found guilty, but they were sentenced to only go into prison on weekends.
And then Epstein being, it's hard to say that wasn't a murder, that he wasn't murdered as part of the overall cover-up. Why would in the prison there? Why would that happen per se? When he was in a major league prison, he was a major league player, and all of a sudden he commits suicide overnight? I don't think so. Somebody else did that.
Yeah, something's rotten in Denmark.
Something's rotten in Denmark right there. And so you've got all of these factors that make it look really dubious. And so, but then, Ted, what did you think of the way the Democrats tried to, in the last kind of 6 months since Trump has been back in, tried to make him the key guy and the...
Because he said he wouldn't release the documents, and they thought they had him. So they would continue their lie, and the documents would never come out. But guess what?
They came out, and I think it's a real, it's going to be interesting. When is that, tomorrow?
I think they're voting on it today.
Today. And then I guess that will mean these documents will be available. But again, both parties, the attorneys general, the this, the that, they all saw what they were going to see. But they both didn't want to do anything. And I'm wondering, why was that? Did they think that they could make it look like the other party was knee-deep in it? Like the Democrats are pretending that Trump was knee-deep in this thing? Or I can't get what is happening with the Epstein files. But it also has to be said that when they interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell, is that her name? That all of a sudden she gets transferred to a safer prison, and now she's in a better place, but also said, oh, Trump didn't do anything. He had nothing to do with this. He's a great guy. And just never had anything. I don't know. This is something I want to hear from our listeners. 508-871-7000. Peter Blute filling in for Joe Mangiacotti. Let's go to Mark. You're on the Peter Blute Show, the Joe Mangiacotti Show, right here on AM 830 WCRN. Hey, Mark.
Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
Is it too cold? Is it cold enough out there for you?
Oh, my God, is it cold? I hate it.
Awful, isn't it?
Ted and I were talking.
Wouldn't it be nice to be on a chaise lounge like down in South Carolina, down around Myrtle Beach?
Like 77 or something.
Mark, can you get me some tickets on the Lolita Express?
No, you got to procure them yourself. So anyways, this guy Epstein.
Yes.
I'm just looking at it, as an outside observer, and this has been going. How long has the guy been dead? like 2 years?
Something like that, and then he was operational for another 5 years before then.
Yeah.
Doing his thing.
Yeah. Why wasn't this all released under the Biden administration? It could have all been released 2 years ago. The guy's been dead for at least 2 years? The guy's been dead. That's the end of that file. What are they waiting for? They could have done it, the party of, remember, transparency. We must have a transparent government. Why didn't you release the Epstein file under the Biden administration 2 years ago?
Mark, you made a good
answer that question.
You made a good point.
Can you answer that question?
Not really. There's many questions.
No, not really is right.
It's hard to check it out, but you made a good point on Sunday on my show about maybe the motivation for this obscure what's going on thing, and that is that the margin in the House and the Senate is so narrow that they can't give up an inch. Otherwise, the other team takes over, and then there's real problems.
Well, I think behind closed doors, I suspect that Trump said to Marjorie, you know what? You better watch out what you wish for, because you just might get it, and we might lose the Senate, and we might lose the House, and then the impeachment proceedings will start as soon as they hit the magic number. Do you ever think about that, Marjorie?
Now,
Hey, can I? I know your time is running short.
Yeah.
All right. I'm looking at this. Get back to Jeffrey Epstein. Could it be that he was just running a high-end escort service, and he was using it as a means for extortion, to extort either favors or monies out of people, not only in this government, but other governments as well.
That's the other big question. Why? Why do they get involved like this? And where did his money come from? And who was giving him the money? It is a major question. I'm hopeful that over the next few days we'll get to the bottom of it. Thanks for the call. We appreciate it. We'll take a break on the Joe Mangiacotti Show right here on AM 830 WCRN.
This is Jerry Dorr.
We're back here on the Joe Mangiacotti Show. Peter Booth filling in. Ted A is our producer. Our number is 508-871-7000. Obviously, we're talking about the Epstein thing and where it's going in the next couple of days. I don't know. Where are these names going to come from? Are they going to be stacks of them? Are there going to be people from all over the place? Democrats and Republicans? Did you see the Harvard guy basically said, I'm backing off. Larry Summers. He was the president of Harvard. He was very active with Epstein. And now he's saying, hey, I'm out of it. I'm not, going to be moving around those areas anymore. The other issue that I think is interesting, Ted, is the military engagement by Trump on those drug boats. I mean, he's taken them out. There's no doubt about it. And each one that I saw blown up, I thought to myself, this looks like a real drug boat. Why else would they be there? Why else would the intelligence have that intelligence? And of course, when the boats blew up, it looked like there was drugs on there. And of course, we know there's lots of drugs coming in. So I'm with Trump on that. I think that's a American protective measure to say to these foreign countries, no, you cannot do that. You will not do that, and we will blow up those boats.
Oh, it's certainly something that is within the realm of protecting our
Absolutely.
sovereignty.
Absolutely. Now they're talking about Venezuela. They're talking about Mexico, maybe. And I think Trump's a little bit over the top on that. He's got to be careful when he talks about going to war, because that's serious stuff. And the Mexican president is now, she's all up in arms.
I thought we were already at war with drug cartels, aren't we?
Well, we
Don't
certainly
we have
are.
a drug war going on?
We certainly are with that. With what country is it that we're blowing up every 5 minutes? Is it Venezuela or the other one?
Well, Venezuela, San Salvador.
Yeah.
There's been incursions on the northern coast of South America. It's all a good thing as far as I can see.
It's defensive. It's going after the bad guys. It's, and they're not like blowing up 5 ships in a row. They're giving them a chance to move around, and they do their intelligence work, and they go, no, that's one of them. That's a drug boat. That's carrying drugs into our country, and we can't allow that, and we're going to blow it up. And they do. And you know what? It seems like the other countries aren't that hyped up about it. In other words, it's almost like they think of these boats as just people that work for them that are going to drag drugs and get us some cash. They're not that concerned about them, it seems to me.
Well, one of the things they've found about Central and South American countries that are overwhelmed by these drug cartels is that the cartels move in and start paying for stuff. They start solving administrative problems in the government.
Right.
They start organizing banks so that the interest rates are more amenable to their business.
And which country's the one that produces all the cocaine?
Colombia.
Colombia. They are like, they got factories. They're doing their thing, and they're expecting to get their cash.
Well, remember, compensation makes the motivation. So they're motivated by the compensation these cartels are bringing into their country.
Exactly. And I think Trump is correct on this, that this whole idea that we have to make a private case about these drug boats when they get blown up, the drug thing are just floating around. It's unbelievable. 508-871-7000.
A lot of stoned fish out there, I'll tell you what.
Interesting times. And the other point that Trump makes, which I think is very legitimate, is how much damage these drugs do. How many people are killed? How many young people think they, in our day, Ted, yeah, we had pot, there was some coke, but we had nothing like this coming in every day.
Well, it wasn't chemically derived recreational things. It was, not that I know personally, but back in the day, the cocaine was brown and pasty, like
That's
wax.
Right. That's right.
And I guess what the kids get today are pure crystals. So it's not cocaine. It's what the dentists call procaine. It's manufactured in a laboratory.
Well, at the very least, we should be taking some action against those countries. And they know it. I think these countries know it. Mexico knows it. They can't be doing what they've been doing for decades.
There are elements of these countries that welcome it.
Exactly. They don't care. And the people who get killed, they don't even give a crap about those people killed on those boats. 508-871-7000. A lot of other things happening, too, that's kind of interesting. Did you see what Michelle Obama said the other day?
I prefer not to, but tell us.
Oh, my God. She's getting interviewed by an actress, a well-known actress. I can't think of her name, African-American actress. And she says that a woman couldn't get elected president, an American woman, basically saying that Kamala should have won, but she didn't because of American males making the decision that we didn't want a woman to be president. What are you talking about? I mean, stuff like that. And she says, I'm not running because you're not loyal enough. That's what she said to the people of America. And she blamed it on American males.
Wasn't Barack Obama the first female president? Come on, Big Mike, you can tell us.
And then there's the whole rumor that Barack has been messing around with that actress from Friends, whatever her name is, that they've... It wouldn't surprise. It wouldn't surprise. But Michelle doesn't sell very well anymore, do you think? I just don't think she's viable,
no,
reasonable.
You know, what we used to call damaged goods.
She's damaged goods. And one of the points she was trying to make was we had this great candidate named Kamala Harris. What? This is one of the worst candidates we've ever seen. She was ineffectual. She spoke about things, and then you said to yourself, what did she say?
What?
What? Say what? So it's really strange. And then we got the other candidates out there. I'll tell you what is clear. Schumer's done. Schumer's done, and maybe even the potential speaker there from New York. He's not so good either. They didn't do a great job during that shutdown at all.
I think he should do a cover for Mad Magazine.
That's a good one.
What, me worry?
But their media friends seem to be acting like they've got it in the bag come next go-round. But I'll tell you, Trump still has some very successful policies, whether it's getting the people to not cross the border illegally. That's huge. Apparently, in the last month, there's been zero. And a year ago, 2 years ago, there were millions of people coming across the border illegally. So we've got, Trump has done well on many things, not everything. And I think he should be reluctant. So, for example, he attacks Marjorie Taylor Greene, but then now he's on board with her. What? What's going on there? Interesting. By the way, speaking of football, did you see what happened yesterday? We're coming up and we're playing the Bengals. What are we, 8-2? We're 8-2. We're coming up to play the Bengals. At the end of the game yesterday with the Bengals, their best player got kicked out of the league for 1 week because he spit in the face of another player. That's beautiful. That's like, we're looking good.
It's about time.
We are looking good. And the coach is doing well. The quarterback, Drake May, I love it. But we'll come back and we'll continue our conversation here on this show. We're going to talk about America's bad guys. Who are America's bad guys? This is what Michelle is talking about, that the average white guy is one of the people that are bad guys. And they're trying to present that to all of the women. And with the women, it's largely worked, hasn't it, Ted? We didn't do too well amongst women, but with guys, they're starting to get it. They're starting to understand that these people are not our people. They're not loyal. They're not effective. and we're going to have to take them on when the time comes in the next go-round.
A lot of women have come along.
Yes, and that's good. That's very good. All right, we'll take a break, and we'll come back here on the Joe Mangiacotti Show. Peter Blute filling in. And we're back here on the Joe Mangiacotti Show. Peter Blute filling in. Ted A. is our producer. Our number's 508-871-7000. We're talking about the Epstein files. Apparently this week we should get a lot of exposure to them. That'll be good, I think, for everyone. Let's put that behind us. And then we're talking about some of the other issues of the day that are happening. Gambling. Michelle Obama saying that, I can't believe what she said. It was amazing. Let's take our calls, 508-871-7000. Let's go to Tyler. You're on the Peter Blute Show on WCRN. Hey, Tyler.
Good morning, Peter. How are you and Uncle Ted?
Good. How about you?
Good. Ted was right. The asses were screwing with my Bluetooth, so I apologize, Ted. A positive note, and then also the Epstein files. Peter, our Boston Bruins have done something never achieved in the NFL. The second to last game, there was 7 penalty kills, and they didn't give up a goal.
Wow.
It's happened several times. However, I asked Google, out of the 7 penalty kills, how many were they 2-man down? We were down 2 men. They said 1 man down, never 2 man down. So it was 2 men down on 2 of the 7, not 1 goal.
And if I'm not mistaken, they lost last night.
Correct.
But they have won. They won like 7 in a row before that.
Correct. And the 7th one, 2 men down twice out of 7. Never been done. Also never been done. The judges who blocked the order, remember judges' aggravation, you shoot up dead. You're not going to get this type of information. And if they have the press box, that means you order a hit and you have a guard not there because they were short-staffed. Of course, the video cameras weren't working, and he hung himself from a 10-foot slick ceiling with a paper sheet, although it looks like rope ligature mark. This is a clockwork orange. This is called Stallworth, Railroad Central, West Coast Game, and Southern District. You district them to get an earn because it's too big and too powerful and too many involved. Now, this is the sickening part. I just spoke with the MMA, Erica and Bridget, the most mouth-watering anchors out of Fox 61 News. And they reminded me that the girls were getting $3,000 back then, which is a boatload of money. And the Lolita Express, although it had Clinton's name on it so many times, there's a distinct and widely reshared email in 2011 where Epstein's brother had discussed and said repeatedly, never, ever was Clinton here, because you don't blackmail and throw people out there, you protect them. And in fairness to Bill, he's not Bubba. He was Herman the One-Eyed Sherman, and God bless him. Like Gene Simmons says, I like women.
I've told this story about my colleague and close friend, Jack Quinn, who is from Buffalo, New York. He served about 20 years from Buffalo, and we were close friends. I had him on my show once, and I said, Jack, how come we were never invited to Epstein Island? And he said, we were backbenchers. In order to go to Epstein Island, you had to be a chairman, a vice chairman, of something big. You couldn't
first string, baby.
You had to be first string to go to the island so they could hold it over you. And they did. This is where, this is Harvard professor Larry Summers. I'd like to see him under testimony in front of Congress. Can we get him?
I think they're going to have to.
They're going to have to and say, what were you thinking about, Professor? What at Harvard led you to believe that you could pull this off with these young women who were, underage, frankly. That's the thing about when they show these women, they're older now. You know, they've grown up. But back when this happened, they were not older. They were very young. And that's what makes this, that's why I am agreed with Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Mace, and the gal from Colorado. They make a good point.
You know, the flip side of this is Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas.
Yeah, tell me about that.
She immediately went on a rampage to distance herself and demand that all organizations and institutions that dealt with Larry Summers should eliminate him from their boards, get him out of the picture. But why is she protest? I think she doth protest too much.
She dropped it, right? She didn't stay on top of it. Hey, thanks for the call, Tyler. Let's go to Ken in New Hampshire. You're on the Peter Booth Show on WCRN. Hey, Ken.
Good afternoon, Peter.
Good afternoon.
You know, what are you doing to us? You laying shade on Schumer and Hicks. I should say Jeffries.
I think both of those guys, in terms of leadership, have not done very well.
But all I can see is the sombreros on their head. Come on. And they're not competent. That's a twofer we want.
Well, that's true.
Ay, caramba.
I think you're right. They if you had to choose who you'd want leading the Democrats, you'd probably choose them for another circus run.
Yeah, at least a couple more. We know it's not going to happen, but please, it's a good laugh and ties them up in confidence. But, you're looking for the big question is, why did the whole where they stand on Epstein change so much over time? I mean, it's like they flipped roles. No, we want Epstein. No, we don't. And then the other side, we don't want it. No, we don't.
And where is the mainstream media? You would think that since the Democrats had power over these documents and the Republicans have had power for years, right? Years.
It's just their kind of thing, hot and salacious.
Hot and salacious. How come they didn't get some stories written that were reasonable and something that they could prove?
Peter, you're thinking in the 90s when you were there. It's changed a lot. Let me explain. So who was the big dog when you were there?
Gingrich.
No, come on, above Gingrich. Who's the president?
Clinton.
Jesus, is that where all this started? And so think of the people who were, you described your colleague as far as, how you were getting invited. All that. Times have changed a lot, Peter.
Yeah, they have. They have.
So here's the point. The people that used to lead on the Democratic Party, much like Schumer and Jeffries, are on the way out, right?
Definitely on the way out.
And who's replacing them?
Can AOC actually do it? I don't know. I don't know enough about New York liberal politics.
AOC and AOC types. They're
types,
the militant,
though, yeah.
Okay, they're the militant Marxists. Okay, so I just described a twofer, right? And now I'm describing another twofer. Because guess what? When it comes to these Epstein files, what are they thinking? Oh, boy, we get to knock out the old Dems and hopefully Trump, too. It's a twofer for them.
And did you hear what AOC said yesterday? We will accept the Trump MAGA crowd in our movement when we take over. Wow. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to go over too big on the other side, but they'll accept the MAGA movement in the AOC crowd.
The situation is extremely volatile. If you or anybody tells you this is what's going to happen in November of 2026, you're a fool. Don't. It may be only 11 months away, but guess what? Don't predict it. There's a lot of wild things happening. And the militant Marxists think they got command of it all right now, and they don't have any policies that work.
You know what I thought, and I want to ask both you and Ted about this. In the last week or so, the Democrats, including that redhead former press secretary, have gone after J.D. Vance's wife. And it's been ugly. It's been partly because she's an Indian woman. So what? She's a very nice woman. She's number one in her class in law school. She's got 3 kids. I don't know how they're going after her like that she's some type of, bad person. I don't see that at all.
But, Peter, that's nothing new. This has been going on for as long as there's been this country. Heck, you arrived in D.C. a few years after, well, actually, just as he was exiting, the former vice president of H.W. What do they do to him?
Yeah, that's true.
They take out the second guy.
Yes.
That's always been their mission.
Yes.
Take out the second guy, especially if you've got a powerful one. Number one, the POTUS. That's what they do. And it's between the media and the Dems who are in cahoots to everything, planning it all out. How do we get power? How do we get power?
It's very clear that in the situation where Trump is the president, Vance is the vice president, and the Democrats are not in power, they go after them like vehemently because they can. It's not that it makes any sense, but they go after them because it's the only thing that they got. And but I think Vance is pretty sharp. I really do. I like Marco Rubio too. I think he's very sharp also. So those two candidates for the next president, not bad. Not bad. I don't know how it'll work out, but I think they're both fairly well-positioned, articulate, smart, tough. They're going to do well. I really think they're going to do well. What do you think, Ken?
Well, I agree with you, but there's a war on the conservative right. They're trying to take out Vance.
Yeah.
Because of Middle East policy, and they're trying to set up Ted Cruz, who I liked a lot 12 years ago. I don't think that's going to happen. But they're creating a civil war on both sides, basically.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. And by the way, we got 3 years. This is early in this tenure of Trump. Now, the other thing, one last thing that I think is funny, that the Democrats, they're going crazy on the ballroom. What they say, they're going to take the ballroom down first matter of business if they win. And you say to yourself, why would they be doing that when it's going to be constructed, it's going to be memorable, it's going to be fairly important, I think. Just like the other things that other presidents have built in the White House, those have stuck around. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Ken, thanks for the call. We appreciate it. We'll take a break and we'll come back here on the Joe Mangiacotti Show. Peter Blue filling in. Ted A., our producer, right here on AM 830 WCRN. And we're back here on the Joe Mangiacotti Show. Peter Blue filling in for Joe. Ted A. is our producer. Our number is 508-871-7000. Another issue that involves local politician. Did you see and read about Governor Healy's aide? She has a top aide who apparently had a well-oiled drug operation going on. And was making tons of money.
We're not talking about nickel bags here, folks.
No, this is serious.
We're talking about kilos.
Kilos. Exactly. And she hasn't said anything about it.
Nothing.
And, this is really pisses me
Crickets.
off about our local media. Here they are. They don't have anybody challenging her. Exactly. Nothing. Isn't this a good opportunity to say, hey, Governor Healy, what's going on? And get her to respond. And get her to but no, because they're so one-sided here in Massachusetts.
Well, in a one-party state,
I
you
know,
you can get away with that stuff.
You can get away with it. That's right.
There's another case just like it out in California.
Do they? Oh, that's yes.
And another one in Washington State.
And isn't that congressman in trouble out there? The guy was a jerk who dated the Chinese spy.
Yeah. They used their official office for illegal importation of drugs.
And illegal claims on documents. So that guy claims he's got two houses. One is his home in Washington that he takes as his home, and then the one in California. But apparently he doesn't live in a home in California. I mean, it's just amazing how far they've gone. But this one with Governor Healy's aide, that's got to be looked into. That's got to be analyzed. That's not right. That's not right at all. And I remembered, when me and Peter Torkelson were the only two Republican congressmen in a 10-member delegation at that time. Now it's 9. But now we used to have 9 New England Republican congressmen. Now, 0. We got 0. That's embarrassing. And they never write about it in the press. You'd think they'd say, yeah, it's not a good thing to have an entire delegation one way. That's not a good thing, and we should talk about it.
It's suspect.
It's very suspect. And it's amazing that it just keeps happening. And it's not just here. I've pointed this out. It's in red states, too. You go to Oklahoma, you got an all-red look. It's all red. And those are bad. I think the states like Pennsylvania, that's why Fetterman's so good now. He has to be. Because he's looking and going, a lot of people who are independent-minded, non-Republicans, non-Democrats. And by the way, we have that in Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, 60% of our voters are non-aligned. 60% are not Democrat and not Republican. And so if we could get our act together, now sometimes you have to, what do we have, 12%, the Republicans here? Sometimes you need a good candidate. What do you think of these Republican candidates? I've interviewed a couple of them. They seem like they're smart, former military people. I just don't see enough of it, though. They're not.
I don't think there's going to be any change in what the electorate reports in Massachusetts until we get an audit of the state and we get rid of the current Secretary of State.
I think you're absolutely right. I've said this before. I'm a Republican. I'm for the Republicans. But having said that, if that state auditor came out and said, I'm running as a weld Republican, I think she could win. She is independent. She's after the financial aspects of what's happening out there. Very smart, very articulate. Diane DiZoglio, I think her name is. But she doesn't get enough mileage. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting upcoming midterm campaign. I think We need to do a little better. That's for sure, the Republicans, nationally. But you look at Pennsylvania. I see us as very competitive there. Very competitive. Look at Ohio. Wow.
Well, before we leave Pennsylvania, somebody has to investigate their governor.
Shapiro? He
is dirty.
Is he? I follow him a little bit, but not that closely. But they have some things that they do, places they go. And you know what it is? Again, it's in states like Pennsylvania. The media is like 99% in Pennsylvania pro-Democrat.
Or work for the wife of a Democrat.
Or something like that, exactly. We need to work on it. But we do well. I mean, look at the Republicans. They've done well in Ohio. They've done well in Michigan. They've done well in... Remember, Trump got all of the swing states.
Yeah, I don't think it's the Republicans as much as it is the American people waking up and saying... It's so obvious. It's so clear that they are being led down a rabbit hole.
A path, yes. And I think, and if you look at it, most of the states, we're in pretty good shape. Most of the states have enough people supporting the Republican ticket to keep it going because they have numbers. You go to Massachusetts, there's no numbers. You go to some place like Maine, there's no numbers there. It's just no numbers. You go to California, there's no numbers there.
Yeah, speaking of California, I think the CDL debacle is going to spread to all of these other states like Florida. Is going to really go after it. I think, and they already have. I think that states like Pennsylvania and Massachusetts are going to have to face this because Massachusetts is at the end of the line when it comes to the delivery of goods. Truckers come in here full, but they leave empty, and that's very expensive. And that's why we pay a lot more than other states.
And also, in recent months, they've had articles about how bad it is in Massachusetts in terms of the economy and people, how much they get paid, how much money is available, how housing costs are like, forget about it. We've got real problems, and we need to. But what is your view of the biggest Republican problem we have? How did we ever get to 12%? I could see when we were 20%, but now we're like around 12%.
Well, again, compensation makes the motivation. I think a lot of people have been taking whatever they can, whenever they can, and keeping their mouths shut, staying out of the fray because they're getting their pay.
Yeah, there's no doubt the wealthy here do very well. If you've got money and you've got a good job and you got a good... You're doing pretty well in Massachusetts. But that's a small number of people. Generally, average people are struggling greatly in Massachusetts.
Well, if the Republicans in Massachusetts want to get on board, what they need to do is address the debt service that the people in the Commonwealth are suffering under.
It's huge. It's huge. And the people just can't manage it anymore. 508-871-7000. Did you see the interview with Dave Portnoy?
No, I didn't.
He's our Massachusetts guy. You know him?
No, I didn't see that one.
He's a sports guy, and he's been very successful. But he voted for Trump 3 times. He's conservative. But he, takes on the other opposition, and he's from Massachusetts. And I think he's very smart. He's only 48. Very smart, very articulate. That's what we need. Maybe he should run at some point as a candidate for a Republican governor here. It's just too easy for the Healey's of the world to do what they do. And then not to answer the question, why did your aide become a well-oiled drug operator, right? How did that happen? When did it happen?
There's no question. They have the evidence.
It's
they
there.
have the timeline. They have been surveilling the situation. It's, it could very well be the reason she's not responding is that her attorneys told her not to.
Because we can make sure that the mainstream media doesn't go there, right? That's what happens. In other states, the mainstream media will go there, but not here.
20 seconds.
Not here. All right, filling in for Joe Mangiacotti, serving with Ted A., our producer. We thank him, and we'll be back. He'll be back. When's he coming back? He'll be back right here on the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN.